Hello everyone, I'm Dan Filgreen. This is Shell Point Today for Thursday, June 6th. On today's show, we learn about the new refundable contract option available at Shell Point and how you may be eligible to make the switch. We'll also visit King's Crown, where residents shared recollection of their wedding day. But first, we want to remind you that the first session of Nordic Walking Insiders begins today. Nordic pole walking is the best way to get some exercise and improve your posture, all while staying nice and cool in the air conditioning of the village church. Session 1 begins today at 3 p.m. and continues every other Thursday under the instruction of Lindy Smith. If you can't make Thursdays, then a Tuesday session is also available. But please take note, because the times have changed. The first Tuesday session happens next Tuesday, June 11th at 2 p.m., and then every other Tuesday at 3 p.m. For more information or to sign up for either of these Nordic walking classes, contact the Island Service Desk at 454-2282 or the Woodland Service Desk at 454-2054. Thursday is also usually the day for the spot play readers, but they have decided not to meet for the summer. Watch the weekly reminder and Shell Point TV for a notice on when the play readers will resume. Tomorrow, there are two big events to take note of. Start your day off right tomorrow by celebrating National Donut Day. The social center will be filled with all sorts of delicious pastries and also a donut movie starring Shirley Temple. National Donut Day is open to all and happens tomorrow morning at 9:15 a.m. in the social center on the island. And then tomorrow afternoon, Peter Dice brings us his quarterly update to our community. Bring your questions and be ready to take notes as Mr. Dice presents the Resident Quarterly Meeting happening tomorrow at 2:45 p.m. in the church auditorium. One person you often see at Resident Quarterly Meetings is Tim Lochridge, our Vice President of Finance. He and his team are responsible for calculating all of Shell Point's budgets and other economic indicators. Recently, they faced a new challenge, a brand new refundable contract coming online soon with the new neighborhood, the Estuary. There was such an interest in these new refundable contracts that Tim and his team are offering the opportunity for current residents to convert their own life care contract to the new option. What do you need to be eligible? We asked Tim Lochridge to give us all the details.
Hi everybody, it's Jared Pike here with Shell Point TV. We're talking about a new contract here at Shell Point, and who better to tell us about it than our Vice President of Finance, Tim Lochridge. Tim, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Jared.
First, a little background. For its history, Shell Point has generally had one kind of contract, an unlimited contract that includes assisted living and skilled nursing, but there's never been a refund available upon your demise. Well, in 2008, that changed. We adopted the C contract. We have A, B, and C now. And the C contract, which did not include assisted living or skilled nursing, did allow for a refund to your estate. Well, when the Estuary was announced recently, Shell Point decided that they could take the best parts of both contracts, the unlimited coverage and the possibility of a refund, and combine them into a new contract called the A Refundable. And this was going to be a new thing coming on just for residents of the Estuary. Well, we thought we'd give the opportunity for current residents to take advantage. The reason Tim is here is because the numbers are a little bit complicated, and we have our cheat sheets here, but to give us kind of the bullet point about the refundable contract. What kind of refund is it?
Okay. We have two refund contracts that we've developed, a 75% refund and a 90% refund. Both of those are based upon the age of the resident that's going to be making the conversion. So that calculation comes up with an additional entrance fee that the resident will pay. And for that additional fee, they will then get, upon their demise, either a 75% or a 90% refund to their estate.
Okay, so you pay a certain amount extra up front, and then there's a refund due to their estate.
Right, and that refund, though, is based upon the entire entrance fee that they paid, their original fee plus the additional amount that they paid.
Okay. For a current resident who has already paid their founder's fee,
correct,
it can get a little complex, because if they want to take advantage of this contract, there are a fair number of calculations. So give us kind of an example. If a current resident paid a certain amount, take us through a sample of what they would pay.
Okay, if we can look at this example, you'll see that this resident is age 77 years old in our example, which happens to be our average entrance age here at Shell Point. And for that age, the additional fee that will be charged will be 58% on their original entrance fee. 58% is based upon the age of the resident. So the younger the resident is, the less that fee will be. The older the resident, the more that fee will be. So for that additional fee, now let's say that resident paid $100,000 as their original entrance fee. Could have been a couple of years ago. So we add the 58% onto that. We get a total of $158,000. So 58% is the $58,000 additional fee added to their original fee. So they've paid in total $158,000. But for that, on their demise, they will get 75% of that total back as a refund. $118,500 will be their 75% refund upon their demise.
Okay. So there is an opportunity there for someone who possibly wanted to take advantage of a refund, but it wasn't available when they first signed up.
Exactly.
Now they can take advantage, and but there are some eligibility requirements.
Yes.
Tell us about those.
Yeah, just a couple. You have to be 85 years or younger, so not over 85 years old. You have to be living in independent living still. You can't permanently be in assisted living or in skilled nursing. And finally, there'll be a basic health care review just to make sure you haven't contracted any disease recently that would significantly shorten your expected life. But basically, most of our residents should be eligible for this.
So, Tim, there are some details involved in this conversion. For example, if you cancel your contract early, you only get a refund of a certain amount.
That's correct.
So there are some stipulations, so it's important that people contact you.
That's correct. So in our example, the refund would be 75% of that extra $58,000 that was paid, not the entire entrance fee of $158,000.
If someone cancels.
If you cancel, correct.
Yeah, right. And I was talking before we started taping that I've always known with you in charge of the finances, I didn't have to worry about anything because Shell Point is very conservatively run. We wouldn't embark on something like this without knowing that the finances are sound, not only for Shell Point, but also for the resident.
Right.
And that's why this, we call it a contract conversion, is a little complex, and every person will be different. So
exactly.
How would they take advantage of this? What's the first step?
Okay, the first step would be to express their interest to me, that they're interested in possibly converting to this product. They can do that by calling me at 454-2230 or emailing me at timlochridge@shellpoint.org. And that's Lochridge with an H, Lochridge. Everyone gets that wrong.
Right.
So that would be to express an interest, and then I will prepare a personal calculation for them and send that to them along with an informational sheet about the details, some of which we've discussed today. Then if they're still interested after that, they get back to me and we'll set up an appointment to get together and discuss further and hopefully complete the transaction.
Okay. And there is a little bit of deadline because this isn't going to last forever.
That's correct.
Because this is a new contract. This is kind of a one-time chance for you to convert your current contract to a refund if you're interested.
That's correct.
And so the current deadline is?
The limited time frame will be from June 10th to September 10th for our residents who are here year-round. And then there'll be another period in January for our snowbirds that come back at that time. But then after that, you will not be able to convert after that point. Okay.
So this is a one-time thing. If you're interested in contract conversion to a new refundable contract, contact Tim Lochridge. Give me your phone number again.
454-2230.
And you can also email him as well, and he'll work through the personalized calculations to see what the refund would be for you and your estate. So again, this is Jared Pike with Shell Point TV.
Well, folks, it's the first week of June, and you know what that means. It's wedding season. We saw this a few weeks ago when our assisted living residents celebrated a party with a wedding theme, including a bridal fashion show, nostalgic wedding photos, and even a cake. This inspired us to ask those residents about their own wedding memories. Here are some of the stories we heard at King's Crown.
My family moved from West Virginia to Ohio when I was in the 7th grade. She was also in the 7th grade, and that's the first time we met. We claim that when we saw each other for the first time, we both laughed. A friend of mine said, why don't you choose a gal from our class and we'll go on a triple date. So I looked the class over and I saw Eloise and I said, I think I'll ask Harper. And Harper said that she would go with us. So that was our first date on March the 21st, 1939.
He played basketball and I liked the shape of his legs.
We went to a youth conference up at Beulah Beach, Ohio. At that time, I felt that I should enter the ministry, and of course, we'd been going steady all during that time, and so I was hoping that she would become my wife, a minister's wife. And so when we got to the cherry tree on that particular evening, which was a favorite spot of ours, I asked her to marry me, and she said yes.
It was a small wedding. I mean, it was an open wedding, though. Anybody could come that wanted to. And so the whole town turned out.
Not quite.
It'll be 70 years on January 1st.
What's your key to having a successful marriage?
Well, cooperation, trying to understand each other's views.
Don't go to bed angry. Let not the sun go down on your wrath, as the scripture said.
Well, we met first when we were 4 years old. We dated in high school, and then we both went to different colleges. I went to Iowa, and he stayed in Nebraska. He kept coming over to Iowa to see me. He had to go to Fort Benning for officers training. He proposed to me one Friday. We were married the next Friday. How my mother put together a formal wedding, I still never know. But we had a formal church wedding. My mother went to visit her cousins for a week, gave us the house for our honeymoon. And then we left for Fort Benning. And I stayed with him all the time, went from post to post with him. So I knew he was going to be going overseas. And so he was in the Normandy invasion. 7 days, his whole platoon was gone, and he was the only one left, and he was shot. So they sent him back to England. A German POW took care of him on the PT boat going back. And I never received notification he was shot. Chaplain called and said, we're sending your husband home back to Winter General Hospital in Topeka, Kansas, if you want to see him. And I said, I didn't even know I was shot. Incidentally, I was pregnant, which he didn't know. Here I am like this, because he never got any of my letters. Way back, he was in the hospital 2 years, and about 6 months into being in hospital, all his letters that I'd written him came back.
How many years were the two of you married?
68 years. We were married the day before the 4th of July. Bill said that's when the fireworks started.
We met here at Shell Point, so everything happens here at Shell Point. We met in Teledora, where we were both living. Alfred was an editorial writer for the Chicago Tribune for 30 years. It was the 25th anniversary of Shell Point, so there was a big, big gala. And we were told to wear our long dresses. He was going by, and he stopped and said, are you going where I'm going? And I said, well, yes, I'd be glad to go with you. We went to many things together. There were all kinds of boat trips and so forth. He wrote to me, we haven't known each other long, but I'd like us to be married. And so he wrote it through the mail. And I wrote back, of course, and then we talked every day on the phone. We went north for the wedding. He had no children, no siblings. So my family just took him over, and he was delighted to have a family. He loved books. We ended up with 2 rooms in our Turbine apartment full of books all the way around. Loved being together, reading to each other, and discussing many, many things. We just never had a dull moment. We always could find something to talk about. Even on the evenings after dinner, he would read to me while I was cleaning up the supper table. And I loved that, of course. Married together 14 years.
We met in high school, actually. Carol's brother and I were best friends in high school, so I got to know the family quite well.
My brother was a hunter, and he was a hunter, and we lived in the country. We had 35 acres, and we'd go down in the woods and see what we could find.
We enjoyed doing things together.
And being outdoors.
I was out of college before we started dating.
He didn't ask me to marry him until he'd finished. We were out in the backyard one day of my folks' house, and he asked me to marry him. And I said yes right away. We were married in the front yard of my folks' house in the country. And these two urns were filled with hydrangeas, and they were, the urns were from the cemetery. They'd been in the family for years. People that came were sitting in chairs, not in rows. They were sitting all over the yard.
Tell us about your wedding dress.
Well, my aunt made it. She made the whole thing, and she made the bridesmaids and the maid of honor dress also. This was pink. This was pink, and these were light blue, and mine was white.
Bill, you looked very handsome. You had this very nice wingtip shoes, brown and white.
This was a garden wedding, so we thought it appropriate. In July of this year, it will be 72 years.
Marriage is a give and take proposition, and that you have to know when to give and when to take.
I can't think of anybody in this world that I would rather be married to.
This weekend, a youth choir from the New Presbyterian Church in Fort Lauderdale will be bringing their program to Shell Point. Randy Woods will have more details in today's Village Church Connection segment. But for now, let's cover all of Thursday's happenings, Academy news, and menus.
Welcome to the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley, and this is Suzanne Savada, and we're going to go through what's happening here at Shell Point today. We're going to start out with Bend, Breathe, and Balance in the Health Club. That's at 7:15. $5 per class, but you don't have to sign up. Just head on down there and drop in. At 8 o'clock, it's time for the Men's Golf Association. They'll be at the golf club. 8 o'clock is also the time for round-robin men's doubles tennis at the tennis courts. At 8:30, you'll find the kayakers and paddlers down at the kayak storage facility to go out on their weekly trip. And shuffleboard would be played at 9:15 down at the shuffleboard courts. At 9:30, current events will be discussed in the game room of the Woodlands. Also at 9:30, we have ladies match play tennis down at the tennis courts. At 9:45, we have introduction to beginning line dancing in the health club. At 10:15, you'll find basic line dancing in the health club. And our last line dancing activity for the morning is at 11:15 with advanced line dancing, also in the health club. Here's Suzanne with your afternoon lineup.
Thanks, Bev. We'll kick off the afternoon at 1:15 with Mahjong being played in the library lounge on the island. At 2:45, we have a Health Connections, Balance and Mobility Training Level 2 in the Health Club on the island, and this is closed. 3 o'clock, we have another Health Connections, Pole Walking, Insider Workshops. This will be meeting in the Village Church Auditorium on the island. Sign up is required, and it's $10 per class. At 4 o'clock, the Seamstress will be in the Osprey Room for the weekly visit. And at 4:30, the Alcoholics Anonymous meeting will take place in the Stable Room at the Woodlands. 7 o'clock, we have Pinochle in the Library Lounge. That wraps up Thursday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Coleth with your Academy information for Thursday. At 9:15, the Skype Basics class continues in the Computer Teaching Center on the island. Tomorrow, we have a new Technology Today and Tomorrow class, and it's Facebook Basics on the iPad. Debbie Kerr of Rosemont will be the instructor.
Menus for Thursday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is baked pork chops, roasted red potatoes, and carrots. For dinner in the Crystal, it's the Crystal Carving Board for $10.95. The soup today is potato leek. In the Island Cafe today, lunch is a roast beef panini with fries for $6.95. And for dinner, it's Thai night for $7.95. In the Palm Grill, the special is New York strip for $17.95 or stuffed shells for $13.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, Randy Woods, and I'm looking forward to this weekend, and I trust that you are too. No doubt by now you've read about the upcoming concert we are having this Sunday with Christ Ambassadors, which is the 21-voice youth choir coming from New Presbyterian Church in Pompano Beach, Florida. The choir is directed by John and Lisa Wilson, and they will be here, the choir singing with our church choir on Sunday morning, June 9th, in the 10:15 worship service, and then Sunday night at 6:15, the choir will present their concert. Their program will include a wide variety of musical styles from classical to gospel, and as well as including spirituals, contemporary Christian vocal solos, and solo piano selections. And we're looking forward to the special presentation on Sunday night as the choir will present a staged musical drama called Bright New Wings. This dramatic presentation is complete with costumes and choreography. The prominent drama director, Richard Briggs of Fort Lauderdale, has designed and crafted this show, and I know it's going to be really spectacular. There's also a special feature with a choir of talented musicians playing English handbells, many of them using the very difficult 4 bells in one hand technique. The concert is going to be free, and we invite you to come out and be part of this program. It's going to be very inspirational. You'd be interested to know that the choir is comprised of talented and award-winning high school students from many of the schools in South Florida. This choir has had the honor of being invited to sing in December for the famous Christmas Candlelight presentation at Walt Disney World in Orlando. We look forward to this presentation and the music that they will be sharing. Again, the choir will be singing with our church choir during the morning worship service Sunday at 10:15 and the concert Sunday night at 6:15. So plan now to come and be a part of our great celebration as we welcome this new generation of singers and their musical presentation Sunday night here at the Village Church. It's going to be a wonderful day. I look forward to seeing you.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow as Roger Herchak and Carol Clark take us behind the scenes at the J. Howard Wood Medical Center. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Thursday, June 6th. I'm Dan Filgreen, and from all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.